The lights fade, a lone guitar strum echoes through the darkness. A young girl with a notebook in her hands sits at the edge of her bed, scribbling lyrics about heartbreak, hope, and small-town dreams. Her name, Taylor Swift. No one in that moment could have imagined that the same girl would one day outsmart an entire billion-dollar industry that had controlled artists for generations. They didn't know that she would go from being another hopeful teenager to becoming one of the most powerful names in global entertainment. An artist who didn't just play music, but rewrote the rules of it. The spark. When Taylor Swift arrived in Nashville, she was just 14 years old, carrying a demo CD and a vision that seemed too big for her age. She walked door to door at record labels, only to be turned away again and again. But she didn't quit. She knew rejection was part of the process, not the end of it. That persistence caught the attention of Big Machine Records, a small, up-and-coming label willing to take a chance on her. Her self-titled debut album, released in 2006, marked the beginning of something special. Songs like Tim McGraw and Teardrops on My Guitar showcased a teenager writing about real emotions with startling maturity. Audiences connected instantly. By her second album, Fearless, Taylor had already become a phenomenon, breaking records and collecting awards faster than most artists even land their first hit. But beneath all the fame, one hidden clause in her contract was silently shaping her destiny. She didn't own her masters. In simple terms, it meant that while the songs were hers emotionally, legally, they belonged to someone else. Every melody, every chorus, every heartfelt lyric were assets controlled by her label. For many artists, this was just how the game worked. But Taylor wasn't like most artists. The fall and the awakening. As Taylor's fame exploded, so did her understanding of the industry's machinery. She watched other artists lose control of their catalogs, see their songs used in commercials without consent, and be silenced by contracts they signed too young to understand. She made a promise to herself. When her deal with Big Machine ended, she would take control. That opportunity came in 2018. Taylor tried to buy back her masters from Big Machine, offering a deal that would allow her to own her own work for the first time. But the label refused. Instead, they sold her entire catalog, 6 albums, to Scooter Braun, a powerful manager known for handling artists like Justin Bieber and Ariana Grande. For Taylor, it wasn't just a business move, it was personal. In a public statement, she accused Braun of incessant, manipulative bullying and claimed that her life's work was now in the hands of someone she saw as an enemy. Fans were furious. The world was divided. The Reclamation, Taylor's version. Most artists would have accepted defeat. But Taylor saw something everyone else missed, a legal loophole. Her old label owned her recordings, not her songs. That meant she could legally re-record every album and reclaim ownership over those new versions. And so she began her quiet revolution. When she announced she would re-record all her old albums as Taylor's version, the industry laughed. Critics said fans wouldn't care enough to stream the new versions. They said it was a waste of time. They said it couldn't be done. They were wrong. In 2021, Fearless Taylor's version debuted, and it was a global event. Fans flooded Spotify, iTunes, and YouTube, deliberately choosing her re-recorded tracks over the originals. For them, this wasn't just music, it was loyalty. The Empire strategy. Taylor Swift didn't just win back her music, she learned to monetize it with surgical precision. Her genius wasn't only in the art, it was in the architecture of her empire. Behind every tour, album, and release, there was a carefully calculated business decision. She built direct-to-fan marketing systems, limited edition merchandise, and collectible vinyl releases that sold out within minutes. When she dropped Midnights in 2022, it wasn't just an album. It was a global product launch. The rollout was planned with the finesse of a Fortune 500 brand. But her boldest move came with the Eras Tour. Instead of relying on intermediaries or traditional promoters, Taylor controlled nearly every element of it. The result? The tour became one of the highest grossing in history, bringing in an estimated $2 billion in ticket sales alone. Cities experienced what economists dubbed the Swift lift, a measurable boost in local economies wherever she performed. Hotels filled, restaurants overflowed, and airlines reported spikes in travel, all because of one woman's show. And she wasn't done. Taylor partnered directly with AMC Theaters to release the Eras tour film, bypassing traditional Hollywood studios. This move allowed her to pocket a massive percentage of the box office revenue, an unheard-of feat for a music artist. The film earned over $260 million globally, cementing her as a business innovator as much as a pop icon, the art of ownership. By 2024, Taylor Swift had officially joined the ranks of billionaires, with Forbes estimating her net worth at over $1.1 billion. But unlike most billionaires who build tech companies or inherit wealth, Taylor did it through art, and more importantly, through ownership. Every song she wrote, every decision she made, traced back to one guiding principle: control your narrative, or someone else will. She once said in an interview, "My life's work is my music. If I don't own it, what's the point?" That statement became her North Star. She taught an entire generation of artists to read their contracts, to value their art, and to never confuse fame with freedom. The billion-dollar legacy. Today, Taylor Swift's name is synonymous with cultural influence. Politicians reference her in speeches. Universities offer courses on her songwriting. Even the Federal Reserve has mentioned her impact on local economies. She has become a living case study on how to blend art, business, and narrative power into a single, unstoppable force. Her story also carries a message for creators everywhere. You can play the system, or you can rewrite it. When the music industry tried to cage her creativity, she found a back door. When they silenced her voice, she built a louder one. When they told her ownership was impossible, she made it profitable. Her success is not just in the billions she earned, but in the legacy she leaves behind. A legacy of independence, resilience, and vision. The reflection. What makes Taylor Swift's story so poetic is that it mirrors the very themes she writes about: heartbreak, loss, and redemption. She turned her greatest professional betrayal into her most triumphant comeback. And in doing so, she didn't just win, she changed the game forever. She proved that an artist can be both emotional and strategic, both dreamer and disruptor. Taylor Swift didn't just outplay the music industry, she rewrote its rulebook, line by line, chord by chord, verse by verse. And in doing so, she became the music industry itself. Before you go, if you believe artists deserve to own their art and their future, make sure to like, subscribe, and join us for more deep dive stories on how visionaries turned passion into power.